All right, in First Chronicles, we meet a man named Jabez, and Jabez really provides us a look at why we need a God space in our life, but also why we should learn to journal scripture. When we slow down and learn to interpret scripture for ourselves, we really do allow God to speak to us so that we learn the power of God, but also so that we allow God to transform our beliefs about ourselves and others. So this scripture comes from First Chronicles. Now, we should know the author, the audience, and the purpose of the book of the Bible that we're reading the scripture from. So First Chronicles was written by Ezra. He's a priest. So he is writing to the Jews that are coming back from Babylonian exile. So he's reestablishing and affirming their identity. So he's actually calling out their name and calling out their lineage. But in the middle of that, we meet Jabez. Now, Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, "Because I bore him in pain." And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me and that you would keep me from evil, that I may not cause pain." So God granted him what he requested. Now, when we slow down and journal our way through those verses, and that is to just slow down and define those Hebrew keywords in a concordance. So that verse literally means, now Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. That honorable means that Jabez is the exception. And it says that his mother called him Jabez, saying he was bore in pain, because that Jabez literally means pain and sorrow. And it says that Jabez called on the God of Israel. And that is that when we have painful experiences in life, those experiences begin to define us. So that means that those painful experiences become trauma, and that is that I feel bad about that painful experience, so it makes me feel bad about myself. It makes me not trust myself, and that shows up in perfectionism and the inability to take healthy risk. As I am trying to keep myself from more pain, I actually will start to play it safe in life. And it says that Jabez called on God because we actually need God to heal our pain. He said, "Oh, that you will bless me. Oh, that you will pour divine favor in my life." And he says, "Enlarge my territory." And so sometimes people believe that I don't have pain. Pain is not driving it because I am successful. That enlarge my territory means not only take the brakes off my life so that I can be successful, it also means give me the ability to actually enjoy my success, give me the ability to thrive. It says, "And your hand be with me." And this is that we're praying for God's power, his guidance, and his presence. And this is so that I stop being defined by the harm that I've experienced. And this is so that God begins to define and value me. And that is that my value starts to be established by God and displayed for people. And he said that, "So you will keep me from evil." Now that evil means affliction, adversity, calamity. And so we will think that evil is to others, that evil is actually self-inflicted. That he says that so that I won't cause other people pain. That is so that I will exit this cycle of, as I'm trying to avoid pain, I begin to discharge pain into other people's lives. And then because I'm doing it that way, I actually feel worse about myself. And as a condition of that, my behavior becomes worse. This whole process brings me shame. It brings me more harm. It brings me self-inflicted trauma. Jabez is actually praying that I am healed of my trauma so that I stop being trauma for others, but I also stop being trauma for myself.